Heading off to college is a really exciting time because it's a major turning point in your life that brings a lot of new experiences, new locations, new people, new way of life. But it can also be a scary time because in most cases, you won't actually know anyone else there at first. So if you don't want to ride through your 4 years of college alone, you're gonna need to make friends. It can be a little nerve-wracking to put yourself out there for the first time since probably the beginning of high school. And so as a professional college student, here are some tips on how to make friends in college. Number 1, go to student orientation events. If you want to make friends as quickly as possible in college, you have to go to new student orientation. One of the first things you'll do when you actually get to college is orientation, and it's the first place where everyone in your year will be gathered together for the first time. You'll likely get put into a small group of other new students, and you guys will go through all of the different orientation stuff together. You all are going to be forced to talk to each other, so this is at least an opportunity to get to know other people. And because these are the first people you'll ever meet in college, they'll also pretty likely be your first friends, at least until you make other friends. In most cases, the first friends you make on campus aren't actually going to be your lifelong friends, but it's at least somewhere to start. Number 2, leave your door open at the beginning of the year. If you want to make friends in college, this is something I really recommend doing. In your first year of college, you'll be living in a dorm with a bunch of other new students who are also looking to make new friends. But sometimes it can be a little daunting to try to go knock on someone's door just to say hi. And so if you leave your door open, it's at least a little bit more inviting to them. And so when people are walking down the hall, they might see your doors open and want to come say hi. This is a really great way to get to know the other people in your hall because they'll be walking down the hallway pretty frequently. And so having your door open just means more chances to talk and get to know each other. Because it's one thing to strike up conversation in the bathroom when one of you is brushing your teeth and the other is trying to just pee. And it's a lot easier to have a good conversation in one of your rooms. In my freshman year of college, I actually rarely ever had my door closed unless I was going to sleep. And I actually would sleep with the door open sometimes. And a lot of other people on my floor did the same exact thing. And so we were always just popping in and out of each other's rooms, and we all got to know each other pretty well and got to be friends. I'd be working in my room and someone would just pop their head in the door and then we just talk for a little while. It was actually a really nice time, and this is how I got to know some of my best friends in college. Number 3, go to dorm events. Especially in your freshman year, you should be going to as many events as you possibly can. It's a really great way to meet new people while doing some sort of shared activity or maybe just eating together. Your dorms are probably going to be hosting events every weekend and maybe even during the week sometimes, and so popping out to these events is a great way to meet the other people in your dorm. Since these are people you're going to be living with, there's a pretty high chance you'll see them at these events over and over again, and so you can really start to get to know them that way. In my freshman year, whenever there was an announcement that we'd be having a dorm event, I'd drop everything I was doing just to be able to go. And as someone who's pretty introverted to begin with, having an event where one of the main purposes was to socialize with other students was really helpful for me in terms of making friends. Number 4, form study groups in your classes. If you want to make friends in colleges and succeed in your classes at the same time, this is what you have to be doing. Making study groups is essential to getting through all your classes. And so if you just talk to the people around you at the end of lecture and ask to study together or maybe work on an assignment together, it's an easy opportunity to get to know them in a more personal setting. And since these are people who you already have something in common with because you're taking the same class, it'll be a lot easier to keep the conversations going. At least in my experience at Stanford, people tend to have a lot of friends who are in the same major as them. And I think this is because if you're in the same major, you're going to be taking a lot of the same classes together, and so you'll naturally be spending a lot of time together, whether it's sitting in the same lecture hall, working on a group project, or just studying at the library together. So you get the benefit of being able to study for your classes and do better in them while also being able to make lots of new friends. Number 5, hang out in the dorm lounge. This is something I used to do all the time in my freshman year, and I found it a really great way to make new friends. By just posting up in the dorm lounge, you're bound to have random encounters with people. And most of the time it'll be people living in your dorm, so as you see them again and again, you naturally start striking up conversation with them. And sometimes you'll also run into people who aren't in your dorm, who are just like visiting or something, and it's a good way to sort of broaden your pool of interactions. Sometimes I'd just be watching TV in the lounge or playing ping pong with a friend, and people would just come by and join in, which was a lot of fun. Number 6, join clubs and other organizations. This is without a doubt the absolute best way to make friends in college. If you want to make lifelong friends in college, you have to join clubs. At the start of the school year, your university is going to host some kind of activities fair where all the clubs and other student organizations on campus sort of advertise themselves to all the new students. I strongly urge you to attend this fair and scout out all the possible clubs you could possibly join, and then join every single one that you're even remotely interested in. And then you gotta attend at least one club event or meeting for all the ones that you signed up for. And even if you end up deciding that a club isn't for you, the only way you can really be sure of what you like and what you don't like is by at least trying it out. And then for the clubs that you do decide to stay in, you have potentially dozens of new people you can easily be friends with. It's so easy to make friends with people this way because they're all going to be people that you already have at least one shared interest with, that interest being whatever the club is about. And so if you have at least one shared interest already, it's pretty likely that you'll have more. So befriending them becomes a total walk in the park. The two biggest clubs I was active in during my time at Stanford were the Filipino American Student Union and Stanford Taekwondo, and a lot of my really great friends were people that I first met in these clubs. So if you take away nothing else from this video but this, make sure to join clubs if you want to make lots of friends. Number 7, ask to join people playing sports and games outside. This is a bit of an unconventional way to make friends, but I've definitely seen it work. Depending on the climate of where your school is, you might find people just hanging around outside playing basketball, soccer, spikeball, volleyball, or whatever else. I know it's a little intimidating, but you could actually just go up to them and ask to join. Honestly, I've never seen anyone get rejected from asking to play with people. And even if the teams are full, people are usually totally down to swap out with you when they get tired. I think this is a pretty solid way to make friends because you'll be doing a group activity together, and I think competition is a great way to really forge those bonds. In my freshman year, I loved joining people to play spikeball outside, even though I had never played spikeball before and I was really bad at it. I still had a lot of fun and got to meet a lot of cool people that way. I know it can be a lot to put yourself out there like that, but trust me when I say it'll definitely pay off. Number 8, invite people for a meal. Especially in the beginning of your first year of college, you might be eating at the dining halls alone, like a loser. While there's nothing wrong with this, I do think it'd be a better overall experience if you had some company to share a meal with. But if you don't have any friends on campus yet, you're gonna have to be a little more proactive and invite people to have a meal with you. This usually works great if you have a dorm group chat and you just send a message saying that you're gonna be having dinner at the dining hall and ask if anyone would like to join you. Since most college freshmen are also gonna be pretty desperate to make friends at this point, there's a high chance at least one person is gonna say yes, if not more. And then you can all have a meal together, get to know each other, become friends, and live happily ever after. I think this is also a great way to become friends with people who are currently really only acquaintances at best, because as you're having a meal together, unless you guys prefer sitting and eating in silence, you'll naturally be striking up conversation and getting to know each other more. I used to always join random people for lunch and dinner whenever they sent a message about it, and I actually made my greatest friend in college this way. And so if it worked for me, surely it'll work for you as well. Number 9, join an intramural sports league. This is only going to work for a specific type of person, but another great way to meet new people in college and making friends is by joining an intramural sports league. A lot of times people will start up teams but not have enough people to actually play, so this is a perfect opportunity to just slide yourself in there. Of course, this is going to require that you already can actually play that sport, but if there are beginner rec leagues at your school, that is also another great opportunity for you. As you know, being on a team is a really great way to make friends because you're going to be competing together with this group of people. And since you are presumably all there because you want to be, you'll at least have one thing in common with everyone, being that sport that you're all playing. The trick to becoming friends here is inviting your team to do things that are outside of the league, whether that be practicing or training together or rolling out to dinner together as a team. Number 10, participate in campus events. One really great way to branch out and meet lots of new people in college is to attend on-campus events. This is really good for meeting people outside of the ones that are just living in your dorm. Colleges love putting on events for students, whether that be something like an arts and crafts night, a trivia night, a dog petting day, a pottery event, parties, or whatever else. It brings together people from all different parts of campus to do something that you're all interested in. And honestly, even if you find that you aren't successful in making a new friend there, at least these events usually have free food. Number 11, ask to sit with people at the dining hall. This is probably the most intimidating way to make friends in college, but it's so out there that it might just work. If you're looking for a seat in the dining hall and see that all the tables are already occupied, you could always ask someone who has a free seat next to them to sit there. It's kind of a striking way to introduce yourself to new people. Not everyone is going to be super receptive to this, to be honest, because some people just want to be left alone, but sometimes they will be open to having a conversation with you. I think this is really only true for the beginning of the year when people are trying to make new friends though. I remember in my freshman year, I was having lunch with an acquaintance when someone I had never met before just came up to us and asked to eat with us. And then we ended up talking and becoming friends that way. So speaking from personal experience, This method definitely can work. Number 12, leech friends off of people you already know. This is the easiest way to make friends in college, hands down. If you know someone that is already decently well connected and become friends with them, that opens you up to getting to know their friends a lot easier too. It really reduces the friction to meeting new people because you'll have that mutual friend to serve as sort of a bridge between you guys. And I think it's a super solid way to kind of just insert yourself into a new friend group. If you already have a shared friend with these other people, it likely means you'll be getting along too, whether that be because you have shared interests, compatible personalities, or really whatever else. I guess the only downside of this is that this would require you to actually have at least one friend to begin with. But if you can get over that hurdle, it's kind of like a gateway to getting more friends. Number 13, befriend your roommate. For a lot of people, it may be hard to just walk up to new people and introduce yourself and strike up conversation. I get it. I'm also really introverted and would rather just stay home. But college gives you at least one easy opportunity in your roommate. Your roommate is someone you're going to be living with for the better part of a year, so it would be nice if you could get along with them. I think most schools will use some sort of survey or questionnaire to pair roommates, meaning that hopefully you two are at least somewhat compatible, and if all goes well, you have one person just waiting to be your friend. This is someone who you'll probably at least share one meal with at the beginning of the year, and so if you find that you mesh well, congratulations on getting your first friend. But I mean, at the very least, it would be in your best interest probably to maintain at least a cordial relationship with them. But if you get some terrible roommate who you just can't get along with, good luck. Number 14, leave your room. I'm not gonna lie, if you want to make friends in college, you can't just be in your room all day. And it's such an easy trap that lots of introverted or shy people fall into because your room is such a nice place to be. But if you spend all day cooped up playing Valorant or League of Legends and never take the time to at least say hi to the other people in your dorm, you're not going to make any friends. And this is something that becomes harder as time goes on because you just get used to staying in your room. And as other people start to form their own friend groups, it becomes even harder to really interject yourself anywhere. I'm telling you, you have to leave your room as much as possible if you want to meet new people outside of just your roommate, especially at the beginning of the year. Number 15, put yourself out there. I'm gonna be brutally honest. If you wanna make friends in college, you're gonna need to step outside of your comfort zone. You have to learn to say yes to things, even if you might be initially hesitant, assuming it's not something that's actually dangerous. College is about learning and having new experiences, so you're gonna need to have your fair share of that if you want to meet new people and also make new friends. If you remain stagnant and just stick to what you already know, you're not really gonna grow as a person and build meaningful relationships. In my freshman year, someone sent a message in the dorm group chat saying that they were gonna go walk to Trader Joe's and wanted to see if anyone was interested in joining them. Was I interested in going to Trader Joe's? Absolutely not. I had no interest in joining whatsoever, but this was an opportunity to meet some new people that I hadn't talked to before. It was like a 30-minute walk each way, and I didn't even end up getting much while I was there, but it was still a worthwhile experience for me because I got to talk to and get to know some new people that I'd met for the first time. And it also helped me to become more comfortable with just putting myself out there, which made similar situations in the future a lot easier to handle. And so I suppose the moral of the story is that if you want to make friends in college, you have to play an active role and really be proactive in putting yourself out there and trying to meet new people. You're not going to make any friends being so passive all the time. And so I think the first few months of college is really critical because this is the time when everyone is making friends. Sometimes these friend groups don't last for all 4 years, but in most cases, a lot of your friends throughout college are going to be people you meet in your freshman year. So this is a really important time. And if you want more advice on how to succeed in college, be sure to like and subscribe.